I'll be honest, when I first heard about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which I'll shorten to Let's Go from now on, I didn't have high hopes for it. I even played a demo of the game about a month prior to release, and I can't say I was hugely impressed with that. Sure, I play a bit of Pokemon Go in my spare time, and I even reviewed it way back when, and it's in severe need of an update. But it's a little unusual that there was going to be a game with Pokemon Go's capturing mechanics, as well as being a reboot of Pokemon Yellow, a Generation 1 Pokemon game which came out for the Game Boy back in the late 90s. In this game you play as a young trainer that you can name, living in Pallet Town, getting ready to go out on your first Pokemon adventure alongside your rival, whom you can also name. As you try to leave Pallet Town, you meet Professor Oak as well as your first Pokemon, who will either be Pikachu or Eevee, depending on the version of the game you're playing. The game teaches you the basic controls around catching Pokemon, and once you and your rival get your first Pokemon each, your journey into the world of Pokemon begins. As you travel around the land, you'll be catching Pokemon, fighting trainers, and taking on gym leaders as you strive to complete the Pokédex by catching them all and becoming the strongest trainer in the land. Very much like the Generation 1 Pokemon games, only the original 151 Pokemon are available in the game, with some exceptions, and each version has different Pokemon. But is the game any good? Find out in The Good. I do appreciate how this game handles encountering wild Pokemon. As opposed to the other games in the series, wild Pokemon now appear on the field, allowing you the choice of encountering them or avoiding them. Another thing that being able to pick and choose what Pokemon you wish to encounter brings to the field is the Pokemon chaining mechanic. This is a simplified version of a feature that debuted in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum on the Nintendo DS, which was the 4th generation of the Pokemon games. By encountering and capturing the same Pokemon over and over again, you build up a chain combo. As this chain combo grows higher, several things can happen. Rarer Pokemon may appear on the field and you might be tempted to break your chain in order to catch one, or if you stick to the Pokemon you're chaining, you have a better chance of capturing one with better stats, or even encountering an alternate colour of it, commonly known as a shiny Pokemon. The game is quite generous in how the chain is maintained, with the chain only breaking if you either capture a different Pokemon, running away is fine if you accidentally walk into a different Pokemon, having the Pokemon you are chaining run away from you, or by turning off the game. Nonetheless, the idea of having the Pokemon appear and wander around on the field is a very welcome change and is something I would definitely like to see in future games. Some of the finer details of the game I also liked as well. The game allows you to have a Pokemon following you around, which was a feature last seen in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver on the Nintendo DS. Each Pokemon has been detailed and is shown to scale. Other Pokemon may even let you ride them, and once you beat the Pokemon League, certain flying type Pokemon may even allow you to soar through the skies over buildings and obstacles to get to certain places faster, though it is limited. Your partner Pokemon also doubles as the game's item finder. By watching your partner's tail, when you're near an item, your partner's tail will wag from side to side, getting faster as you get closer to the item. The game also has a feature where you can transfer Pokemon that you've captured in Pokemon Go into the game. While only restricted to the first 150 Pokemon, you can't be transferred and is only available in the Pokeball Accessory. Once you have selected the Pokemon you wish to have in Let's Go, you can enter a field containing them where you would have to capture your Pokemon again in order to use them in your game. The idea of having the Pokemon you've caught from Pokemon Go be usable in Let's Go is great. However, this is a one-way street. Once you transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go to Let's Go, you can't send them back. By connecting your Pokemon Go account to Let's Go and transferring Pokemon, you also gain access to a mysterious box in Pokemon Go which allows you to catch the new Pokemon Meltan. Meltan and its evolved form are Pokemon which can be sent to Let's Go and used in the game, although you cannot evolve Meltan in Let's Go. The game also introduces Master Trainers. After defeating the Pokemon League, new trainers appear on the field to challenge you. These trainers specialise in one particular Pokemon, and to battle them, you must use an identical Pokemon and you cannot use items in the battle. These trainers can be quite challenging as they employ strategies in their movesets, though you can beat them by over-leveling. But where's the fun in that? The game's music is an absolute treat to listen to. The music is all rearranged, again, from the original Game Boy games, and while it may be me being nostalgic here, I've always enjoyed listening to arrangements of Generation 1 music, from the first remakes of the game in Generation 3 on the Game Boy Advance, to the music today. However, this is where my praise for the game stops, and we look at what wasn't so good with the bad. While I can understand that the catching mechanics were probably there to welcome players who had played Pokemon Go as their first Pokemon game, I feel that a large chunk of what made a Pokemon game is ruined by introducing Pokemon Go's capture mechanics. In a traditional Pokemon game, when you encountered a wild Pokemon, you would send out your Pokemon to battle it. By weakening the wild Pokemon enough, you would then capture it. In this game, for the most part, when you encounter a wild Pokemon, you would just throw your Pokeball at it until it either stays in the ball, you run out of Pokeballs, or it runs away. The exception to this are certain Pokemon such as Snorlax, Electrode, and the legendary Pokemon, which do require you to battle them before you can capture them. These battles are timed, and if you're unable to beat the Pokemon in time, will escape for you to try again another day. The capturing mechanic I found wasn't entirely accurate, and sometimes there's a short delay from when you make the motion on the Joy-Con to when the ball is actually thrown. Sometimes when you try to throw the ball to the side, it may fly off in some other random direction. To make the game already easier than it is, you can have 2 players playing the game, allowing you to catch Pokemon easier at the cost of using 2 Pokeballs instead of 1, and double teaming on trainers 2 to 1. These features I felt isolate long-term Pokemon fans who had grown up playing the games and had caught and battled Pokemon the traditional way. Can't say I'm a huge fan of the candy system that this game employs. As you catch Pokemon, you start getting candies which will either boost a Pokemon's stats, or if it's a candy that has that Pokemon's name, you can use it to boost all of their stats. Unfortunately, you can overfeed your Pokemon with these candies and their stats will grow to stupidly high proportions. By doing this will make the game ridiculously easy, as you've got a Pokemon that's far too powerful for its own good. Thankfully, at least when you fight the Master Trainers, they do buff their Pokemon up with candies to try and even it out. Next up, we have the Pokeball Plus accessory. The accessory was designed to be used as a Go Plus unit for Pokemon Go, where you can capture Pokemon and spin Pokestops without the need to look at your phone. The Pokeball Plus takes this even further by allowing you to spend time with a Pokemon from Let's Go inside the ball. This enables you to spin Pokestops automatically, as well as gain experience for the Pokemon you're spending time with. As I mentioned earlier, the Pokeball Plus is also the only way to get the Pokemon Mew in the game, and I can't say I'm keen on the idea of buying an accessory purely to get Mew. As a controller, I do like the gimmick of the button at the centre of the Pokeball Plus being the controller as well as a button, and the top button being the other. But if I was to, let's say, go into my settings, the only way to do this is to press the button to bring up the menu, then shake the ball to access the settings. I didn't even know you had to shake the ball to access it in the first place, so unless you really want to have Mew or play Pokemon Go on a frequent basis, I would be happy controlling the game with the Joy-Con or playing it in portable mode, which does make catching Pokemon significantly easier. At the end of the day, you could say that the Pokeball Plus is a glorified Pokewalker, which requires you to have Pokemon Go to truly benefit from it. But at least the Pokewalker was included in the box for Heart Gold and Soul Silver instead of being something to buy separately. Other than that, there's not much else left to cover here, so let's move on to the opinion. Turns out the game wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. I think the way the game handles having wild Pokemon on the field is a great idea, as well as the functionality the game shares with Pokemon Go, and of course, the music. My biggest gripe is probably having Pokemon Go's capture mechanics being the main capture mechanics of this game. I can understand if they use it for Go Park or some sort of safari zone in the future, but I think simplifying things for the sake of introducing people who have only played Pokemon Go as their first game to a Pokemon game isn't my cup of tea. The game handles the Gen 1 story fairly well and takes its own creative liberties, and I think if you're a fan of Pokemon who's prepared to suffer through Pokemon Go's mechanics in a Gen 1 remake, then feel free to pick it up. I was a little surprised that the game ended up growing on me. It's not a great game, but it's not a really bad game either. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Let's think back to some advice from Professor Oak. There's only one Master Ball in Pokemon. Use it wisely. I suggest using it on a Pokemon you want to add to your team but are hard to catch, like a Pharaoh or Tentacruel. Well, I did that back in Pokemon Yellow and it did me well. Guess I'll do it in this game too, but in HD. Out of 10. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.